Nathan Cox, thanks for joining us around the home. Well, if you guys have seen any of my videos, or many of them, you know that I like dirt bikes. Well, I like mountain bikes, dirt bikes, anything with, anything that gets you off-road and having some good time out there. And so we got this little Razor MX350, okay? Got this from my grandson. My grandson's 6 years old. I'm going to unbox it here and do the initial setup with you all. Now, some of you might be right off the bat, be like, hey, wait a second. That thing says down there, ages 13 plus, okay? Well, that's like a safety thing that's created by people who want to control all the safety for you. And I hate the safety first idea. Some of you are like, what are you talking about? You know, these are the same people. Molly always loves to help, don't you? These are the same people that that mess up your gas can, right? You know, your gas can, you can't pour the gas anymore because they thought they have to create a safer way for you to pour gas. Well, those are the same people that put this age 13 on this bike. Because some of you are like wondering, is this really for a 13-year-old? Because it doesn't look like a 13-year-old would fit on something like this. No, it's not. But the company was forced to put that on there. You read any of the comments on this bike, everyone says there's no way a 13-year-old fits on it. My 8-year-old outgrew it. They're too big. So this is really aimed for like a 5 to 7-year-old. And I'll prove that later when my grandson gets to see this. But let's get the unboxing. Okay, so it looks like we can just open up the top here. I don't think there's some glue too. Okay. Wow, that was a lot of glue. I don't understand what the point of the flaps were if they're going to put that much glue on it. Okay, so you see there's the bike down in there. I don't know if there's anything in this. Okay, nothing in here. I thought there might be a charger or something. Ooh. All right, so we got the handlebars and stuff. Let's go ahead and, all right, here we go. That's why we stretch, so we can put our legs around boxes like that. All right, I'll show you that more in a second. But it looks like putting the handlebars on and number plate and front fender. There's our front fender. It's probably all we're gonna have to do. And we got a bag of stuff: owner's manual, charger, some clamps. Looks like it's got a screwdriver and wrench in there with it. Okay, everything left is packaging. So we're just gonna drop the packaging back in, and then we're gonna move on to the assembly. Yes, he is. Gonna freak out. No, and she's not gonna know until I send her the first video of him riding it. Okay. So we gotta keep it a secret, okay? Okay. That was my wife just asking if Britt knows. Britt being our daughter, you know, the mother of my grandson. I said no, she's not. Don't worry. She knows I've been planning on getting a bike for him eventually, so she's not against this idea at all. So don't worry, I'm not like going against mother's wishes. She knows I ride dirt bikes, and I even took Cooper on a little four-wheeling escapade the other day, and he asked me last weekend, he goes, Grandpa, when do we get to go on a super adventure again? Meaning get to go, outside and ride on the trails. So don't worry, I'm not going against Mama's wishes. Okay, so you can see by the height of this thing, I think it has a seat height of like 22 inches or something like that, I looked up. So it's definitely not made for a 13-year-old. So I got the handlebars here. Got a stop warning tag. Let's get rid of these. Hate these things. Wasn't saying anything anyways. Charge battery for at least 12. Okay, this actually is a decent tag. 12 battery, sorry. Charge battery for at least 12 hours. Do not store in below freezing temperatures or allow battery to freeze. Oh, that's actually important. This is actually one of the first notices that I've noticed on these things that are important. The rest of them basically say, you know, don't make toast inside the bathtub with your toaster. Okay, you know, stuff like that. So, all right, so I will want to store this in the house, even though it's a dirt bike, during the winter time, because my garage will get below freezing. And the battery here, I think I read, if I remember right, is a lead acid battery or some type like that, not a lithium ion. But 12 hours first charge, and it's probably gonna take that long for the other charges, or close to that. Probably gonna take at least 10 hours, you know, full overnight charge, you know, when you run out the battery. And don't let it freeze, okay? All right, let's take a moment and open up the fender, because I hear something rattling around here. Okay, so we just got the bolt here and a lower bracket to help hold it on, so we'll get to that in a minute. All right, I'll probably want to put that on first, maybe. Let's see here, let's open up this bag. Instruction manual, let's take a quick look. Does it look decent? Yeah, it actually looks like it has some decent tips to it. So this might be something worth keeping a hold of. It looks like it's also got a breakdown of the parts. All right. So charger, we can set to the side. These brackets right here are obviously going to be for the handlebars. Okay. Simple enough looking. Okay. Now let's see how terrible the tools are that they gave us. Most of the time I want to just throw them away immediately and get my own. So we have a double-sided screwdriver, straight Phillips, a little holding handle. This is already better than anything I've seen so far in most things. It's got two different sizes of Allen wrenches, just standard Allen wrenches. This reminds me of a spoke wrench, but I'm probably sure that's not a spoke wrench, and then a wrench. So actually the instructions suggest we go ahead and do the handlebars first. So we will do that. So we'll take a bracket, open it up. So we'll take one flat end. Let's go ahead and do both of them. We'll set it down, set the other one in. Just kind of hold it in place there. They're sitting on the brackets. Then we're gonna take one of the top pieces. And how hard is this gonna be to find the holes? There we go. Just get it started by hand. We'll do the second side. Okay, that wasn't too bad. This should be a very simple assembly. All right. Okay, those stuck up nicely, easy peasy, nothing to it. We're gonna take our fender here, which has two slotted, cylinders there, and then it's got this bracket. I think we'll spin it that way, so that way it sits over the hump right. So that way, because we put it this way, and it's missing half of the hump, so we'll put it like that, turn it back over, take off the nut. Okay. And that way there's two pegs right underneath here, which will slide right in to the ones on the fender. Let's see here. Okay. Once you get those lined up and you quit dropping everything, Benny, where'd it go? Okay. Let's put the nut back on here. And then the smaller Allen wrench will hold the bolt underneath, and our little wrench up here will tighten up that nut. Okay, our fender is in place, yay! This here has just got a couple of little push-through clips that are gonna go through those two holes right there. Oops, and I just popped it off the wires. So we'll get our number plate on. And that is done and looking awesome. Now don't forget, I will have Amazon links in the description down below for this little bike. And we are Amazon affiliates. So using those links helps support the channel. So please click, click, click. All right, back to the bike. Foot pegs. That's kind of cool. All right, and there's just a styrofoam on the other one. Okay, we need to adjust the brake here. That's important. So let's get our little screwdriver that came with it. Oh no, not the screwdriver. Allen wrench, the smaller one. Loosen that up. Of course, you can adjust it when you get your rider here, but slight downward angle, not 90 degrees, you know, on a horizontal. Or I guess that'd be like 180 degrees on a horizontal. You want to take it down a little bit and snug it up. And actually, an old dirt bike trick that I still implement, especially on kids' bikes, is I don't want to like crank this down. You guys probably are waiting for me to say, don't go roiding out on this thing. Okay, but seriously, first of all, don't go roiding out because it's all plastic. But second of all, I would leave it loose enough where it's going to stay in place for when he uses it. And if you tap it, it's not going anywhere. But if you were to actually put a little bit of force on it, it'll still spin. That way, not if he falls, but when he falls, it hits the ground, it should just flip it up. Hopefully not snapping it in two, okay? So give it a chance to rotate when he goes down. Again, not if. All right, and the actual brake is down here, so let's take a closer look at that. All right, so this is a cable pull brake, very similar to that on a bicycle. And I will get deeper into this on my maintenance video, okay? But basically, there's a cable here and a bolt holding that tight, and if you need to make a big adjustment to it, then you can pull loosen up this nut, pull the cable, and then tighten that nut back up. But for finer adjustment, it can be done up here at the handlebar, simply by screwing this outward. If you screw this out, see how it has a locking, sorry, my fingers are in the way. So if you take this one here and unscrew it so it goes outward, and then this one right here is the locking nut. If you go outward, it tightens it up because it's pulling this cable thing longer, okay? And so that will tighten it up down there, and then you can lock it in place with this nut right there. This is your fine adjustment, and down there is your big coarse adjustment. And that feels like that should be pretty good. All right, because we definitely don't want it dragging. Let's put it up on the kickstand for a second. Okay, that sounds really good. The brake's not dragging at all. Let's go ahead and activate the brake. Well, I say that's working just fine. We got our power switch right here on the tank, so you guys can see it. Okay, on, ooh, lights up red, and off. Maddie's just snuck by. All right, so here's our throttle right here on the inside. Twist right here, and it doesn't twist very far. So I wonder how much speed control we're actually gonna have with this thing. I'll have that in my initial use video, okay? When we start to learn how cool this thing is. So there's not a lot of play there at all. Okay, so there's my initial unboxing and setup video. We'll have additional videos for this bike, like first use, how to use, how to maintain it, etc., etc. So just like check the video description. As they come out, I will add the links to the new videos. So we're super excited to try this out. Tomorrow we're going to give it its first run. My grandson's going to be able to see it. He's going to freak out. So in the meantime, please subscribe to the channel, click that bell for notifications, check out our website, and there's another video for you guys to enjoy. You guys have a great one.